Ezekiel chapter 20. In the 7th year, in the 5th month, the 10th day of the month, some of the elders of Israel came to inquire of Yahweh and sat before me. Yahweh's word came to me, saying, Son of man, speak to the elders of Israel and tell them, the Lord Yahweh says, is it to inquire of me that you have come? As I live, says the Lord Yahweh, I will not be inquired of by you. Will you judge them, son of man? Will you judge them? Cause them to know the abominations of their fathers. Tell them, the Lord Yahweh says, in the day when I chose Israel and swore to the offspring of the house of Jacob and made myself known to them in the land of Egypt, when I swore to them, saying, I am Yahweh your God. In that day I swore to them to bring them out of the land of Egypt into a land that I searched out for them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands. I said to them, each of you throw away the abominations of his eyes. Don't defile yourselves with the idols of Egypt. I am Yahweh your God. But they rebelled against me and wouldn't listen to me. They didn't all throw away the abominations of their eyes. They also didn't forsake the idols of Egypt. Then I said, I would pour out my wrath on them to accomplish my anger against them in the middle of the land of Egypt. But I worked for my name's sake, that it should not be profaned in the sight of the nations among which they were, in whose sight I made myself known to them in bringing them out of the land of Egypt. So I caused them to go out of the land of Egypt and brought them into the wilderness. I gave them my statutes and showed them my ordinances, which if a man does, he will live in them. Moreover, also I gave them my Sabbaths to be a sign between me and them, that they might know that I am Yahweh who sanctifies them. But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They didn't walk in my statutes, and they rejected my ordinances, which if a man keeps, he shall live in them. They greatly profaned my Sabbaths. Then I said, I would pour out my wrath on them in the wilderness to consume them. But I worked for my name's sake, that it shall not be profaned in the sight of the nations in whose sight I brought them out. Moreover, also I swore to them in the wilderness that I will not bring them into the land which I had given them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands, because they rejected my ordinances and didn't walk in my statutes and profaned my Sabbaths, for their heart went after their idols. Nevertheless, my eyes spared them, and I didn't destroy them. I didn't make a full end of them in the wilderness. I said to their children in the wilderness, don't walk in the statutes of your fathers, don't observe their ordinances, or defile yourselves with their idols. I am Yahweh your God. Walk in my statutes, keep my ordinances and do them. Pause. Kila mtu akuja amwambie pole. Pole, mimi nilisema pole. Namwambia pole. Si ndio? Leo alikuwa anaangalia huyu anaangalia huyu vibaya na huyu anasema na huyu. Mtamwambia. Au sende home. Unaenda home? Pole. Walk in my statutes, keep my ordinances and do them. Verse 20. Make my Sabbaths holy. They shall be a sign between me and you, that you may know that I am Yahweh your God. But the children rebelled against me. They didn't walk in my statutes and didn't keep my ordinances to do them, which if a man does, he shall live in them. They profaned my Sabbaths. Then I said, I will pour out my wrath on them to accomplish my anger against them in the wilderness. Nevertheless, I withdrew my hand and worked for my name's sake, that it shall not be profaned in the sight of the nations in whose sight I brought them out. Moreover, I swore to them in the wilderness that I would scatter them among the nations and disperse them through the countries, because they had not executed my ordinances, but had rejected my statutes and had profaned my Sabbaths, and their eyes were after their fathers' idols. Moreover, also I gave them statutes that were not good, and ordinances in which they couldn't live. I polluted them in their own gifts, in that they caused all that opens the womb to pass through the fire, that I might make them desolate to the end, that they might know that I am Yahweh. Therefore, son of man, speak to the house of Israel and tell them, the Lord Yahweh says, moreover, in this your fathers have blasphemed me, in that they have committed a trespass against me. For when I had brought them into the land which I swore to give to them, then they saw every high hill and every thick tree, and they offered there their sacrifices, and there they presented the provocation of their offering. Hiyo ni alinda na shosho akatoka kwa ofisi. Si mtakula nao, si ndio? Akimaliza class. Kai, pole. Kwanza tulia. Kaa hivi. Kaa straight hivyo. Poa. Joya ameumia. Si unakaa hivyo, si ndio? Ndio isifinya hapo tumbo, si ndio? Poa. What? Unataka kula kucheza? Lakini unaona huwezi cheza. Oh, kuangalia. Unaweza angalia, lakini usicheze. Sawa. Kuangalia tu na utembea pole pole. Kids have to cut this here.